Have you ever seen something that was a little bit out of the ordinary and you felt maybe you should report it to the authorities? I've never had to partake. I don't know if you have.
Never. Actually, I've never called the authorities just on someone else's accord. Like, oh, no. They're doing something wrong. Let me call the authorities.
I know people who have called authorities when they see maybe a dog in a car on a really hot day. I've seen this. Now, in this particular situation, okay, these neighbors were looking into someone's apartment window and they noticed a woman standing and she wasn't moving for hours. She was lifeless, but she was standing. So you had these individuals looking at this woman's apartment and she's just standing there very statuesque and not moving. So they thought maybe something was wrong. So they called the authorities.
Called the cops.
They said, you know what? Hey, we need to report. There's this lady standing in her bra and panties, in her apartment building, and she's not been moving for the last 3 hours. Could you send some authorities over? And the cops were like, we gotta go. Banging in there. Boom. Kicking down the door. And you know what they found, man? They found a blow-up doll.
Think about that. First off, if I came home, long day, work was horrible, a lot of stress, all I want is my nice plastic release.
I want my release.
I want my release mechanism. I get up the apartment door, I get out the elevator, I walk a few steps, I notice my door is gone.
Just
It's
completely kicked down.
I'm like, and then you
Someone took April.
and then you
where's
took
April?
my Emily. My nice plastic Emily.
Like,
why?
Like, it's funny because I can imagine the cops' faces. I can imagine they get a call, like, oh my God, there's a lifeless woman, we need to go. And then, they should report it in her bra and panties, like, oh my God, maybe something really tragic happened to her, we need to go.
She was raped and
Yeah,
killed.
like, you don't
and then
know.
propped up in front of the window.
Yeah, like, just left her for the world to see. Like, that's terrifying. So they bust on the door ready to go, maybe guns ablaze. They're like, ma'am, are you okay? And they come in and they just see a lifeless blow-up doll. And I could just imagine them kind of scratching their heads like, okay, so someone saw this woman and called the authorities and it's a plastic blow-up doll. And like you said, dude was ready to come home to a release. His door is kicked down. Police are there. Think how embarrassing that is.
If I was the cop, I would say, we need to fix this door
We need to fix it
now.
now.
I'd like, we go to Home Depot. We
Yeah,
need to fix
fix
the door now.
Fix it,
because
oh man.
shit is about to hit the fan when Benjamin walks home and sees that his Emily is fucking gone. Okay? His door is gone, his Emily is standing there, and then you have Rosie, the nosy neighbor, who was like, well, I called the cops because we really thought that something was going down. Like, who are you to do that?
It's funny because it's interesting because they reported they'd seen her standing there for hours. Okay, that was the terminology they used, hours. Who the hell is watching someone else's apartment through the window, a woman in lingerie, for hours at a time? Like, what? Maybe the authorities should check you out. Maybe they should check you out. Like, well, why were you staring in this woman's? Like, if you gracefully, you looking like, oh man, this woman in lingerie. Wow.
Gracefully.
Yeah, okay, and then you move on
Then
because
you
you don't
move
want
on.
to see her catch you staring at her.
You imagine if it was a real woman,
Yeah.
and you're just sitting there for 3 minutes, just like, and what's going on? That's super awkward. And the second she turns her face and sees you, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. She's walking over to your house. No, kicking the door in, being like, yo, what are you doing? What you looking at me for?
She could have done it,
She
or
could've
she
called
could
the
have called the
cops
cops
on
on
you.
you and went over. And it's just funny because you stared for the longest time and just saying there's a lifeless woman, and like that really, like, again, who are you? Like, you're staring, and it wasn't that you called and say, hey man, I just saw this woman for 2 minutes, because that's nothing really out of the ordinary. It needed to be a long amount of time, so you were just really staring really hard.
You're a creep.
Like, how many times did you continue to keep coming back to this window and go, man, I think she's putting on a show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think maybe this is what she wants. And then you realize she's not moving or taking any of your advances. Like, maybe they were like blowing kisses back and they were like, hey, what's up, ma? And she's not blowing it back. Maybe she's not interested. Okay, let me put on something else. He comes out, puts something on else. He's like, man, she's not taking any of my advances, and these work on everybody. She's got to be dead inside. I'm calling the cops. And the cops get there, and they're like, oh. And then imagine them knocking on that person's door who called the authorities.
Yes, and I hope they did. I hope they kicked his door down and were like, what were you doing? Because now when Benjamin goes home and sees his door gone, he is going to be pissed. And if I was Benjamin, I would be suing the police department.
So you kicked down my door. I
For
mean,
no reason. Well, we had probable cause. Probable cause for what?
they were told there's a lifeless woman, and they were like, oh my god, there's a lifeless white woman in this apartment. I'm kicking this door down.
Man, if they had me up there, I'd be like, my first. Do I have a history of violent crimes? Of killing lifeless women and leaving them just, in front of windows? Do I have a past of parading lingerie females around in front of windows? Because if I don't, then you're going to replace my door. Because now my door is broken and everyone can come into my apartment. I had a smart TV, but because you kicked in my door, I don't have my smart TV anymore.
I feel bad for Benjamin too, because now the whole place knows.
Think
the
about
whole
it.
place
Right?
knows.
Everyone now knows about his Emily, which is ridiculous.
They know he has Emily, and not only that, they know that this person set up Emily in a way in the kitchen that is very, how should I say, housewife-like, where she's probably making him some way for him to come home. So in his mind, he's already created this fantasy of like, when I come home from work, she's gonna be in the kitchen, in her lingerie, making me some dinner, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna smash. I'm gonna smash Emily. So now everybody's thinking like, man, he had a blow-up doll waiting for him in the kitchen in black lingerie. Homie was coming home to do some business. Like, think of how embarrassing that is that your whole apartment complex now knows, one, you have an Emily to begin with. The fact that you have one is enough. And two, that you've set up this elaborate fantasy that when you come home, you release all this stress into poor Emily.
Dude, he's gonna have to move.
Because
of Rosie the nosy neighbor, because of the police department. This is way bigger than it had to be. First off, the fact that this is in the news proves he has to move. He has to.
Dude, he's gotta leave the country. Like, he's gotta go.
No. He's gotta leave that apartment complex.
He's gotta go.
He might have to leave the town, actually, because everyone's like, hey, you see Benjamin over there? He, plays with a doll.
And everyone's like, oh my god. And so, imagine like he tries to date a woman.
They're like, whoa. What do you mean he plays with a doll? Like, he plays with a doll. And then if he tries to date a woman, what happens? Hold on, what's your name? Is your name Benjamin Maxwell? Oh.
Yeah.
I heard about Emily.
I've heard about you.
Boom! Done. He's just
It's over.
He just stands up and walks away.
It's over. Like, she knows now the kind of individual you are, and to her, that could really frighten her and make her go away. So, it's not working for you, Benjamin. I'm terribly sorry this happened to you. All you were trying to do was create this fantasy world for yourself, and Rosie Nosy had to ruin it. The authorities came in and kicked your door. You probably lost that deposit now.
My question is, do you have a couple $100 you just want to throw away?
No. I don't have $5 I want to throw away.
No. I'm not throwing it away. Think about it. You put up $450.
Okay.
I put up $450.
Okay.
We write a full page ad in the paper. We get Benjamin the love he deserves.
You know what? We're helping you, Benjamin. That's what we're gonna do.
Benjamin.
That's what we're gonna do, because you lost poor Emily in this situation, because now you can't even look at her the same.
Exactly.
You can't. Like, you can't look at Emily and think of anything else other than that terrible
embarrassment.
incident. Yeah, that happened.
Embarrassment.
So now you gotta break up with Emily, which is horrible. It's horrible and horrifying that you have to break up with her. So you know what? We're gonna hook you up, man. We're gonna hook you up. Forget about Kevin. We're gonna put an ad for Benjamin. It's all about the Benjamin. That's the name of your show. And we're gonna make it happen.
We're pitching it to NBC, ABC. There's gonna be a Bachelor of blow-up dolls.
That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. All types and all kinds.
It's just him and then a room full of plastic dolls.
Why aren't we making this like the Bachelor with blow-up dolls? We're making it. You know what? Nobody copyrighted. We're copywriting it. No one touched this. We're making it.
The show is coming.
I have one last question for someone and everyone to please comment. What would you do? What would you do if you were dating someone and you went to their home and they had an Emily standing in their kitchen? Is that where you draw a line? Is that the end of that relationship? Do you decide, you know what, he's not right for me? Because if it is that, if you say he's not right for me because he has a blow-up doll, think of poor Benjamin now. Like, now he's not getting anybody.
Think about Benjamin, because now you're changing and ruining his life.
Sorry.